Okay, hi Sages, and welcome to your June 2021 General Tarot Forecast. This is Sky to bring you a hopefully really great reading for your month ahead. Welcome to June, Sages. What a pivotal turning point month for you. I'm feeling a great rejuvenation coming in for your sign, though you have to be ready to move out of that previously difficult headspace that you were in through 2020 if you had that. Okay, so Jupiter was in Capricorn, your ruling planet was in its debilitated sign, and honestly I feel that like 80% of Sagittarians have not yet come out of that. So something has maybe stretched out for too long, something has been held on to for too long, and it's time for an update. Okay, so this is a month of an update for Sagittarius. I'm going to write that down because it's probably along the lines of what I will title your reading. But I feel like you at least have to be downloading an update. If you were a computer, it's time to download that update, okay? Because the current software is maybe not performing the way that you want it to. And you would probably be seeing that very clearly and already know very well of it before even coming to this reading. So do you have unmet goals, or do you have maybe a few things in your life that you really know that you want but may not seem so compatible with where you're at right now? Cue the update, Sagittarius. Cue the update. Let it come in. Let it be. Understand how you want to like run your business or run your life or contribute to the greater good as well. There's a lot of that coming in for your sign where you're really tapping into collective details and collective experiences. So I'm sensing many Sages being very wonderful for volunteer work or very wonderful for charity, nonprofit work, or something that helps others. It feels like you've helped yourself a lot, okay? Which is great. You know, there's nothing wrong with that at all, because without a healthy self, there's nothing else really. But it feels like maybe last year of 2021, last year of 2020, and I would suppose a lot of this year of 2021 has been all about the self-contribution, and now you want to offset that. I feel that a lot of your update does deal with other figures in your life, so family members, relationships. Like, are you actually happy? Are you actually feeling like you're contributing to your greater progress too? Like, through maybe helping other people, you can actually see that you weren't treating yourself too well. That's usually why that comes in too. You know, especially if you're self-employed or if you have a lot of autonomy, it's very likely that since 2020, you might have actually been working yourself too hard or putting yourself through too much. And you can kind of measure how you're doing right now through that. Like, do you feel like you are in a healthier relationship with self than you were in 2020? Do you feel that you have optimized and calibrated your systems, your networks, your relationships? Does that all feel lighter than it did in 2020? I feel for a lot of Sagittarius it doesn't. And if it does, congratulations, you are in a high percentile, I suppose, of Sagittarians. But if it is not feeling great right now, congratulations, Sagittarius. June of 2021 is getting that changed because Jupiter is all the way in Pisces, okay? Your planet is about to go retrograde at the end of June, and you want to have these things kind of figured out before then, because it can start to get like really hard, okay? So especially for like my super autonomous, like self-employed Sagittarian people, like if you're overdoing yourself, get that done, get that chapter finished. It should have finished long ago, okay? Because I understand that autonomy is so valuable that many of us are willing to do whatever it takes to maintain that, and then put ourselves through a lot more perhaps than we would have been put through in alternate situations. So if that's resonating, if you have a situation like that in your life, regardless of whether you're self-employed or not, like even it's not really about that, but I find that most Sagittarian people, even if they are not self-employed, they sort of go to the next level with things. Like even in a very typical like corporate job, they will kind of like take it upon themselves to do even more than what is required just to go that extra mile and to make sure that things are done right. Basically, that has to stop, okay? Let me be very clear. So pushing yourself and sacrificing your own well-being for the greater good of a project or for some type of entity is something that is not sustainable in the long term. And there are times in life where that can be done and it does like boost you, but I don't think that this is one of those times. I think that this is a time where you more so receive, or where through a minimal output you actually get more. Okay. Jupiter in Capricorn is perhaps one of those year cycles for Sagittarius, as well as Jupiter in Cancer and Jupiter in Gemini to a degree, where, yes, you want to maybe really push and really try and really put in that effort to go big and all that stuff. Now you have to be able to relax, especially now that Jupiter is in Pisces. And it's going to retrograde back into Aquarius, and I think it's going to be very benevolent for you, because Jupiter and Aquarius and Pisces are both really good for Sagittarius. But I'm feeling you to be a bit of like struggling right now. Not all Sages. In many ways, you're doing much better. Like, I'm sensing that finances are probably quite good. I'm sensing that in most cases you are checking off a lot of boxes. But what is falling by the wayside? It's to a degree, it's lacking that thing that I keep talking about over and over and over again on this channel. It's lacking that sort of comprehensive zest. It's lacking in that full picture. It's lacking in, more options. Like, do you have other options? Is there contingency in what you're doing? And if there is, do you know exactly what your alternatives are? You want to sort of think about those things right now and get some things in order so that you're not taken by surprise. Basically, you want to quell the surprise factor while outputting less energy so that you're a stronger person to cultivate an environment in which you can actually craft the path to where you want to be. Oh my God, Sagittarius. So that's not the most Jupiterian Sagittarius thing I've ever said. It must be. But that's basically it. Like, that's basically where you're at right now. And may we all shed tears in unison for that type of complication. It's a joke, but yeah. I think that the month of June, as I'm looking at your tarot cards, requires a huge overhaul, a huge update. The Tower, Judgment, Death card. That is a triplicity of tarot major arcana energy that says absolute transformation. Absolute transformation is required of Sagittarians who haven't had it yet, since 2020. You want to look back to pre-2022, like to 2019, right before Jupiter went into Capricorn. I think that was, I want to say it was like December or January of 2020, like December 2019, January 2020, somewhere around then. Don't hold me to that though. My brain has done many readings today. You want to look back to right before Jupiter went into Capricorn and think, where was I? What was I doing? Where was my prosperity? And then how did that kind of leave me? What events made me so freaked out or paranoid or worried or, doubting in my own capability? And what have I since learned? What have I learned about limitations? What have I learned about, regulations, about parameters, about being safe in what I take on, about not jeopardizing what I've built to get a little bit more, What have I learned about that? Circular moving animation that plays when YouTube videos freeze. Let that kind of process and then be like, okay, that's that. Now we move on. Finally getting that notice from the doctor, finally knowing where your health stands, finally know where your business stands, finally knowing something, and then making the appropriate alterations. So there are alterations this month, and likewise, it can be an easy or a difficult process. I think that there's just a change of heart, happening. Change of heart for Sagittarius to some degree. Let's talk about your week-to-week Sag, and understand about this beautiful change of heart. Okay, so week number 1, you've got the 8 of Pentacles rooted down by 8 of Wands reversed. Double 8 energy. Things always get crazy when 2 8s come up. But also the first week is kind of like a really, really nice week for you. I think that you're involved in some kind of labor of love. I think that you are creating something that you really love or partaking in something you really love. And I think that as you're doing that, you don't want to get too distracted because there are a lot of really nice things flying your way. With 8 of Wands reversed rooting that down, it's like your head is down, you're pounding away at the at whatever your project is. And all of a sudden, the prosperity of 8 of Wands might just kind of like have happened. So you want to make sure you're paying attention to what's also coming into your life, like what's totally new, what is totally abundantly like a windfall coming in, and not avoiding that. But it could also just mean that that is what your current creative process is generating, some type of windfall, some type of abundance, okay? So beautiful first week. Week 2, you've got the 3 of Cups reversed, rooted down by 5 of Cups. You just have to understand the role that other people are playing in your life. You know, this has come up over and over again this month, but I think that certain platonic groups, like peer groups, acquaintances, not so close friendships, those can be toxic at this time for some reason, and cause problems. So you might just see that there's like a rumor or some type of gossip, and that might kind of hurt your feelings, but it's really minute. It's really small. It's nothing that's like a huge deal, and you don't want to let it, really cause you that much problem. Okay. Just take a look at who you're building up and who you're trusting. Okay. Sometimes Sagittarius can trust too easily. Week 3, you've got the Tower rooted down by Judgment, and this suddenly sends you into this huge transformative process. And this could come from like every single direction in your life. Like, well, all of a sudden something fell through, or all of a sudden I'm like, I just can't do this anymore. Like I have to move on. And then you kind of feel a bit of a falling sensation, and then immediately there's an awakening, and immediately there's this like ascension. Immediately there's this call to grace or call to action energy coming in that really starts your transformation process. But it's really coming strongly in the 3rd week, so prepare for the 3rd week of June to really understand how you want to move forward. Week 4, Death card rooted down by 6 of Wands. You're confident about this transformation. This is something good. This isn't a bad transformation. This is a good transformation. You're confident about how you can move forward. You understand something now. You really get how the universe is working with you. You really start to reciprocate the actions of others as well. It's very difficult in essence for you to be fake. It's very difficult for you to pretend to be something you're not. Basically, you have a big demand for authenticity coming up there. So this transformation just basically starts to make the world around you mirror the authenticity that you need. So why not work with that? Why not really go for it? Why not really not be deceived by those things which are not really for you anymore. So anyway, Sagittarius, I'm going to conclude your reading on that note. I'm going to do an extended for you on Patreon. The Patreon page is great. I do weekly forecasts, and these readings are early and ad-free over there. So be sure to check that out. And I will talk to you all soon. Let's go to the extended now. Much love. Bye.